leave a legacy for my family, my work family, and the company that I work for. And I said, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm working toward that every day.
Welcome to High Trust Professionals, a podcast where we interview top industry and community leaders, business owners, and entrepreneurs from across the country. Hear what it takes to build trust, be a respected leader, be productive, and win your day. Sit back and relax as we dive into another episode of High Trust Professionals podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to High Trust Professionals. I'm Lynette Arrasmith, your podcast host, and today I'm super excited to have this guy with me, Travis Castle & Associates with American Family Insurance. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Lynette.
Welcome. I'm so excited to share with our audience today all the super cool things that I see in you, have learned about you, and learned from you.
Well, I'm excited to spend the day with you and your energy. Because it's always over the top, and I love it.
Thank you.
Over the top in a good way.
So you know what? Let's just start with introduction. Tell
Absolutely.
everyone who you are, what you do, your role, etc.
Absolutely. My name is Travis Castle. I'm with American Family Insurance. And in 2006, I joined the company. In July of 2007, I started my own agency. In Bellevue, Nebraska. We were the smallest agent in the state at the time, and we've managed to grow to a larger agency. I've got 4 locations. We have our headquarters in Bellevue. In 2013, we opened up an office in Trainer, Iowa, which is where I also live with my wife. And
Go Trainer.
Go Trainer, that's right. Go Cards, roll Cards. And opened an office in Council Bluffs in 2017. And then in 2019, we opened an office in Elkhorn. So that completed our footprint. And so
that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, so for those that don't know, they need to understand that your Iowa presence, Nebraska presence, the only thing that divides is the Missouri River.
Yep.
And so it's really our metro area.
It is. It is the greater, we'll call it the greater metro area. And that's my footprint. And I really, as I grew and as I started my agency, I started to visualize what I wanted it to become.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a small town. My dad owned a Skelly gas station and a Yamaha Suzuki motorcycle shop.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I always wanted a small town office, and Trainer fulfilled that. And then I opened one up in Council Bluffs to get it to capture that metro area. And Westo was always on my map of a target. And American Family came to me in 2018 and asked, they said, hey, we have some space out there from as far as agent gap goes. And so they asked if we'd be willing to put our agency out there. And I have to say that none of that growth or that footprint would have been possible without my team. I've got an incredible team of 6 people that I get to work with every day, and they just grace me with their presence. They make me look better than I am.
So we're going to come back to the team.
Absolutely. And I will say this too, I have an amazing family. My wife teaches 6th grade. My oldest son, Ty, works for me. My middle son, Trey, just moved back from Ohio. He works for Graham Construction, and my daughter is a junior at Northwest Missouri State. She's a Bearcat. She runs track and cross country there. So
Bearcat.
Right.
Yeah, you go, girl.
Right. So that's my family.
Well, that's and you know, of course, one of the things I love about you, which we all know already, is I love the passion for what you do, the passion that you have for your team, because you're right, no one does it alone.
Right.
And if they think they do, they're wrong. And also that family piece.
Yeah.
So, you know, my side of your story, because there's always my side as the podcast host. Of course, I have a side of our story. You know, in the time we've gotten to know each other, which really happened just through business networking, right?
Right.
It's been fun because I love how you're willing to share the how behind the what. So as you and I have noodled on just business and talked about growth and or strategies or structure, I love your willingness to share kind of some of the things that you have implemented or are working toward, because it's not just an insurance thing. Right. It's a business thing, right? So that's one of the things that I have appreciated about the time that we've been able to spend together. So let's dive into habits. You know, people don't get where you are without being very diligent and structured through accountability. So give us an idea of just what are some things you do on a daily basis to win the day?
I love the win the day statement. We actually were just implementing some of those pieces into our team.
Oh,
so
great.
I love that. I love that little tag. You know, I've always believed that there are traits that come with people that draw to success, and I just believe that if you can execute on those traits consistently, it's very similar to compound interest. You will eventually, you might not see it, we never see results when we go to the gym the first day. It's like, I just ran 2 miles. Why do I still have this big love handle over here? What's going on with that? And
going to the gym. That's what, okay.
Yeah. So you never see those results initially, but as you said, how do you win the day and how do you win consistent days after that? It does come down to discipline. So discipline is obviously one of them. But really what I tell people all the time is have structure, have accountability, which for a lot of people means lists, right? I've got a list of this thing that I'm going to do, and I've got a list of this thing that I'm going to do. I also believe that none of that matters unless you're willing to work. And so one of my traits for success and discipline and win the day is just to work hard. And a lot of people don't realize what that looks like. For me, that looks like getting up between 4:45 and 5:15, getting a 45-minute workout in, and getting to the office before anybody else does. I believe that there's planning in solitude that has to happen in order for you to be able to not be consumed by the whirlwind of the day that starts at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons that I've been fortunate to be really successful in the fact that I don't require much sleep, but I can work hard. There are a lot of people in this business that are so much smarter than I am, but I don't think they can outwork me.
Well, and so getting back to the W word, work, I think some people have what I would call an employee mentality. We need them too. Right. You get there at 8, you're done at 4, whatever that is. Thank you. We're good. If you're going to grow and you're going to scale, you're going to create a legacy, then it does require work.
It does.
Smart work.
Yeah, it does. And I love your word legacy. One of the networking groups I would always go to, they would ask you when you were the presenter is what is your burning desire? Yeah. It's a BNI model. And I started early in my career, I said, I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave a legacy for my family, my work family, and the company that I work for. And I said, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm working toward that every day. And that there's the W word again. Yeah. It is. You have to be willing to work. And my probably, if I have a superpower, it's the ability to grind and work smart, intelligently, diligently, strategically, but get after it. Yeah. And some people are master list makers and they never execute on the list. Some people are big planners and they never execute on the plan, but you have to work the plan and daily and be really consistent with it and be willing to do it when no one else is watching.
Oh my goodness.
And it's been a big part of my success is just early in my career and even to this day, when everybody else goes to bed, I have a good work-life balance. It's important. But if you're going to be that leader of your organization and you're going to build a legacy, or you're going to have an insurance agency with 4 locations, you have to be willing to put in more hours than anybody else.
You do.
And so that's late at night or early in the morning and times when you can do that.
You say working when no one's watching, that the same holds true when someone, if you're a do-gooder or you're going to do that unexpected good deed, don't go tell everyone about it. Just do your good deed.
Right.
But the one thing I will say that I appreciate about you is I also see that you're good at protecting your time. You're busy. You're running a lot of this and you're running hard, you're working. But I also will say that a good leader has the confidence to say, no, thank you. If it's, can you please come and do this? Or can you please give this? Can you donate to that? Again, there have to be boundaries about that, around that. And back to the plan, a plan is not cast in stone, is it?
No, it changes every day.
Right? And so we have to be nimble. We have to be flexible.
Absolutely. And the other part to that, if I could say, before you ask me another question, is a responsibility. I feel, just like you, I'm sure, feel with Belay, is I feel extremely responsible and grateful that I have an American Family Insurance sign on my door and above my door. I get to hang that shield, and I feel really responsible to my company to build it in the way that they entrusted me to build it, and do the things that I should be doing to promote it and build it and give it back to them better than they gave it to me. And so there's a sense besides that work hard, that sense of responsibility to my company, and the same to my team. It would be so unfair for my team to come to work for me every day. And I mean, think about it. They wake up and choose to come to work for me, which is incredible to me. It amazes me every day. Way to go, guys. It amazes me every day that they're willing to do that.
Yeah.
And so I take that all on as my responsibility in turn is to work hard, outwork everyone else, strategize, be specific, be intentional about what we do every day. And it's been really good for us.
It has been. So let's talk about, we can talk about how we get where we are, what it takes to be a good leader. So if you could choose one reason, what's the one reason that someone would follow you? Why are your employees with you? Why?
Yeah, I just had these conversations with my two sons about leadership, and leadership isn't something that you just put on your name tag, right? It's not a conversation that you all of a sudden come out to your team and say, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to be the leader."
You must follow
me now. Yes, you must follow me now, right? Exactly. And that's where I just came to this realization when I was trying to pass that knowledge on to them and let them know that leadership comes through your daily efforts and your daily disciplines and your work, back to the hard work theme, your ability to outwork everyone. And so I have a hashtag, or I've always had a hashtag for my kids when they were growing up and stuff. When the hashtags became a thing, when you're our age, they used to not be a thing.
No,
and,
really?
It was the tic-tac-toe sign.
Yeah.
But we had a hashtag that was outwork everyone, and hashtag I would put that on their thing, hashtag outwork everyone, and that's what I asked from them each day. And then I realized that from a leadership standpoint, that's why people follow me, is because they know that I'm putting in the work. They know that I'm not just mailing it in and having them work from 8 to 5 and get things done and make us successful. They know that I'm committed, and through that visual of them seeing me work hard and do what I do every day, they then are more inclined to jump on the bandwagon. So I think people follow me because they see that I'm willing to do the dirty work every single day.
Well, that goes back to leading by example. I think we have to lead by example.
Right.
We have to roll up our sleeves when we need to roll up our sleeves. And there's kind of like with kids, you want your kids to see you doing whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. Another thing that just struck me that's probably different than the way we grew up is, when I grew up, I don't think there were very many compassionate leaders, right? Because we knew that when our parents told us something, that if we did it or we got swatted on the tail when we were walking past them. And leadership today, I think the other component is compassion. I think that we live in a world where you can't just do it the same way every time. You can't coach basketball like Bobby Knight used to coach basketball. You can't run things with this iron fist, right? And so understanding what other people's situation is and what they're going through, and having that compassion and having some grace with that, really allows people to want to follow you as well, when you can put yourself in their shoes and have some compassion. And so I think compassionate leadership is really important too.
I love that. I agree 100%. So, I mean, aside from putting on your overalls and going to work, aside from, being the hardest working one in the room, what advice would you give someone who wants to be at your level? Because it doesn't happen overnight.
Thank you.
You have to hire the right people, and there's a process
right,
that goes with that.
right,
What else?
right. I do think that people are the number one thing to be able to achieve what we've been able to achieve in our business. Is you have to have the right people, and I can talk on that for an hour because I love my people. My people are there for me every day.
And I know you do. You know, one of the things that both you and I do when we're hiring someone is we do some personality profiling. And there are lots of places you can go to get that. But I think also just knowing your people.
Right.
Because they aren't all the same.
Right.
Their styles aren't the same, and how they react and respond and relate to whatever your leadership style is oftentimes different. And so having awareness around that, kudos to you, because I think that's super awesome.
Yeah.
Who's the one person that you would love to have as a mentor? Let's change directions a little bit.
One person that I'd love to have as a mentor. I need somebody strategic. I need somebody that dials into the numbers. So if I'm picking someone famous, I would probably pick one of the sharks off of Shark Tank. The one that I would probably pick is Mark Cuban. He's built companies. He's purchased companies. He understands the numbers behind things and how they dictate what he should and shouldn't do. I try to be strategic. I try to calculate my moves and what I'm doing. And that's something I have to work hard on, because talking about personalities, my personality isn't one that just locks himself in a room and evaluates spreadsheets and data all day, right? So Mark Cuban would be somebody I would love to spend 6 months with.
Oh,
well, if he's gonna be my mentor,
I'm not asking for much.
If he's gonna be my mentor, let's help me out with half a year of my business.
I'm going to challenge you to reach out to his organization and ask for a 30-minute conversation.
I love it.
I am.
All right, it's on. It is on.
Yeah, I think you should.
I accept the challenge.
You know, in both of our businesses, insurance, mortgage lending, ebbs and flows, right? There are times when, man, you got to make hay while the sun is shining, and there are times where things get a little skinny. So let's talk about when things aren't so great.
Right.
And what do you do, or what do you empower your team to do, or what are some of your best practices that you kind of get back to the basics to help turn that curve to create those opportunities?
Right, absolutely. So we have peaks and valleys, just like you mentioned. And one of the things we try to do is implement systems and processes that reduce the valleys.
Okay.
And one of the ones that we just implemented recently is our win the day model. And our win the day model comes back to, we know we have specific things on our plate to do. Everybody in our agency has a role. We're very role centric. Very similar. I was a basketball coach for 29 years. Everybody knew exactly what their roles were on our team. We knew who the shooters were. We knew who the defenders were. We knew who were great at setting screens, because they might not have been a great shooter. So we implement those same type of role concepts into our business. And so with that, we specifically lay out what their role is. Everybody in our team knows what their role is. They know who answers the phones first. They know who gets the mail. They know who cleans out the corporate inbox. All of those are specifics. But we wanted to dial it down even farther than that. So we created a win the day concept. And the win the day concept is any standards or level of accountability that you want to give your team that they're going to execute every day. And we took it off digital. We put it on and I got this information. I got this system from one of my friends that's an agent out in Arizona. And take a regular sheet of paper. You have a form created, and we want to do 25 outbound calls a day per salesperson. Okay, so they've got a block of 30 little bubble fill in the block, right? Like we used to do on ACTs. And so they make a call. They cross it off. They do it. So they want to make 25 calls. They want to do 5 quotes. They want to ask for 5 life opportunities. And so all these are win the days. And by putting them into place, now all of a sudden and then they report those things at the end of the day, because it's not only the strategy that they're doing, but it's the public reporting as well.
Right.
So those are 2 things that one thing that we're trying to do to reduce the valleys in our agency and in our business, so we can win more days and stay more consistently on top.
You know, I agree with that 100%. I think that, especially in sales, So often we think we're busy when we're not.
Yeah.
You know, although we're busy, but we're not productive busy, and there's a difference.
Right.
And so we too have paper.
Yep. Yeah.
Where it's okay, and we track how many handwritten notes we've sent in a day.
Yeah.
How many videos have I sent to someone, letting them know I'm thinking about them? Gosh, number of touches. And in today's world, what we have found is an outbound call is ideal.
Right.
If they don't answer, don't give up. Text. You know, find another way to touch someone, whether you're just saying hello, or maybe you're asking for some help in growing your business. Who do you know that needs us? That we can serve the way that we serve you? And
they seem so common that we don't do them consistently unless we have something in front of us. And that's really where we try to move that.
Yes. So this is probably one of my favorite questions.
All right.
If you could go back to your younger self,
I wouldn't want to do it.
You can decide if it's when you're 10, 20, or 30. What would you say? What would you want your younger self to know?
I love where I'm at right now. But if I could go back, I always say that I found the right company in the right industry when I was 37. But I always say it's the hardest job I've ever had, but I love it more than any job I've ever had. And so, but I say I wish I would have started earlier in my life. But I really don't think that I would have succeeded like I have to date if I would have been and started it when I was 25, 26, 27 years old. I needed that experience. So I would go back and tell myself to embrace the cycle of life you're in. Keep looking for things that are going to challenge you. And don't be afraid to take chances and keep doing those things.
I love that. That's really, really good advice to your younger self. So often we think that we have to have a different path, and we don't. Sometimes you are where you're supposed to be, and you were where you were supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Because that gets you here.
Right.
Yeah, I believe that too. So where can our listeners find you?
Well, you can find me
other than sitting right here next to me.
You know, we're on all of the social media channels. We are at TCastle at AmFam on Twitter. We're at castleandassociates.com on our website. You can go to amfam.com. It's even easier, and you can weasel your way through to us. Or you can call me on my cell phone, 402-980-2066, and I'm not afraid to give that out.
Wow.
Call me. I'd love to hear from you.
What's that song?
867-867-5309.
Okay, now that aged us right there.
That's right. It did age us, absolutely.
Well, I will say I love watching you as a leader. You are a true definition of entrepreneur. And just thanks for taking time to spend some of your day with us.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
It's so fun. Okay, everyone, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining High Trust Professionals. I'm your podcast host, Lynette Arrasmith. And don't forget, we can connect on social media. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Oh, thanks.
Right? See you next time.